feel like it was like this ultimate effort of 7 years of sucking. Pause.
All right, what's up, folks? It's Any Given Sunday podcast, week 17 in our fantasy football league. That's the AGS Super Bowl. Maybe it was a Super Bowl in yours too. I'm your boy Rebel Scum here with the Pod Squad tonight to cover the action of the Super Bowl. What a matchup! The top two seeds went at it. So much to cover and talk about, but before we get into it, let's first introduce the fellas, starting with the champion himself for the 5th time in league history. Cebert Frogs atop the mountain. Well done.
Thank you, Scum. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. Tonight, the throne is occupied by a new owner. Thanks for keeping it warm for me, NJC. The seat of power has shifted from France and now reigns in Jamaica. We give thanks and praises to Jah, the Almighty. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. The Quan has fallen. Long live the Frogs.
That was epic. Wonderful.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. Hey. Cheers. As a matter of fact, you know what? I'm happy for the Frogs. A little sippy there for everybody. Well done.
Join
Congratulations. Speaking of the Quan, second place Quan for the 3rd time in a row. That might be a little bit of league history. We'll have to fact check that. But so close, Quan. Sorry about it. You lost. Your Rams lost. What a night last night.
Yeah, what's up, fellas? The Ambassadors of Quan here. I just want to give kudos to the champ, Cebert Frogs, man. That was a hell of a win. I'll save some more kudos recap on the season for later, but that was a hell of a run. The Frogs faced many challenges throughout the season, lost multiple players, and still was able to prevail in a victory. Kudos to you and your ability to draft a team with the depth to sustain throughout the season, as well as put up a hell of a Week 17 performance to win a championship, 5th championship. 2nd row now has a place. Congratulations to the Frog. No better champion to face in the championship. Of course, it comes with a heavy burden and a tough loss the third year in a row for the Quan. But our hopes are still, our spirits are still up. Still love fantasy football, and we'll still be back to compete against next season, as we still have a lot of promising players to moving forward. But once again, that was a hell of a win, hell of a season, and congratulations. And as well to NJC and Rudy, it's great to see that our pod here represented the final 4 teams to all be in the final 4 games. Congratulations to BC on this 4th keeper, defending champion, was able to make it all the way to the end and finish in 3rd place. So that's it. Nice job, fellas.
Thank you for the kind words, Quan. No greater competitor to compete against in the Super Bowl. I said it at Cosm. You're returning a great team. You know, I feel like my team was built for next year with all the injuries. I was a little bit surprised to win. So let's run it back next year. Let's do it again.
All right.
Quan really utilizes the entire clock in that introduction. You're like, I don't know who the game manager coach comp is, but you use the whole clock. All right. 4th place, Rudy. Maybe you exceeded your own expectations. I think you certainly exceeded most of the league's expectations. It's great to have you just back on the pod. Sorry how it ended up, but how you feeling?
No, House of Rudy checking in for the last time for 2025. Just blessed to have competed this year. A lot to be thankful for the podcast, for the league, AGS, keeping my old ticker alive, and yeah, good strong fourth place finish. Lot to build on. So great. It was a great way of winning and a great way of losing. Oh, if I'm losing, I'm always ice skating uphill when it comes to losses, and that's what happened with my last loss to NJC. I lost to the defending champion at the time. So I'll end it that way. If I have to end it going out, I'll end it that way. So right. The replacements, good off season to build on, and yeah, let's build on that.
Yeah, man. I don't know if I'm gonna allow myself to make your picks for you next season. I didn't make your picks, but put your picks on the board, man. That worked out too well for you, But well done.
Okay, you know what? And I thank you for that.
Well done, man. He's a champion. NJC, former defending champ. Landed in third place this season. Don't hang your head too low, buddy. This was almost the best case scenario for you once last week happened. But how you doing?
It was a rough weekend. I hate losing, but it's always good to see the person who beat me goes on to win the championship. It was a good run. It was a great opponent. Rudy had the points was moving in that last fourth quarter, and if it wasn't for that pick six, man, it might have been a different outcome. So, congrats to Coop. Number 5 is a hell of an accomplishment, and couldn't ask for a better replacement if I had to leave the throne. So, tip of the cap, Coop.
All right, man. Let's hear the King's speech. Cebert Frog, 5-time champ. Congratulations.
Thank you. Tonight's championship celebration is sponsored by my Sans, Clarence Robinson, and his wife, Janine. Thank you for the bottle of Moet. I couldn't do this without my family, so I'm going to bring everybody on. LJ, Audie, Shy, Shay, everybody's here. Silo, the newest member of the family. Squeeze in here, guys. Here's the camera. LJ, get in there. Cheyenne and Shiloh, Shay, Lex, Audie. All right, get your cups out. Let's have some champs.
I ain't drinking.
Champs for the champ.
Just stay drinking.
All right. Cheers to the
Cheers.
Frogs, 5-time champion. Here you go, Cheyenne.
Thanks, that's good.
There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers.
7 long seasons ago, 2017, I last stood here. Back then, Audie and LJ were just 6 and 4 years old, too young to fully comprehend the weight of what their father meant to this league. This weekend in fabulous Las Vegas, while celebrating the Awumis 15-year wedding anniversary, they finally witnessed it. Their father back in his natural frog habitat, reclaiming his throne. This is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th AGS championship. You see the trophies back here. That one will get a name on it soon. Placing the Cebert Frogs franchise in the same rare air as the Dallas Cowboys, my beloved San Francisco 49ers, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, Reggie Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky. Atop the Mount Rushmore of AGS, the envy of all 11 other franchises, to Quan, NJC, Scum, and every owner in AGS, thank you for raising the standard of competition year after year, for pushing me, challenging me, and forcing me to dig deep and find greatness again. Special thanks to Rudy for reminding us all that the mighty Quan was in fact mortal, by exposing the chink in his armor in week 14, breaking his undefeated streak. So the rest of us knew that the throne, albeit difficult, was possible to attain. My heart goes out to the Ambassadors of Quan as he delivered the greatest regular season performance. I'll say that again, regular season performance in AGS history, 13-1. I hoped since our matchup in week 6 that I would get this opportunity to avenge my loss. This 5th ring is that much sweeter because it came against the AGS #1 seed and the competitor and podcast host who has consistently reminded me of how long it had been since my last title. This championship was forged in the rebuild fire, starting with Bijan, the franchise messiah Robinson, my #1 overall pick in the 2023 draft. When the lights were brightest on Monday Night Football, on championship weekend, when I needed him most, my season on the line, Bijan delivered 41.5 points, the most points he's ever scored in his professional and college career to secure the comeback championship victory. The Samoan demigod, Puka Nacua, the greatest waiver wire acquisition in AGS history, the heart and soul of my team, 310.5 points, leading all AGS wide receivers. Without his 45-point semifinal masterpiece, we never make it past NJC to even reach this stage. And on the grand stage, despite struggling for the better part of 4 quarters, after having 2 long touchdown passes called back for penalty, it was Puka who delivered Quan's final death blow on the 11-yard touchdown catch from Stafford to clinch my victory. Scum, you can cue the Cosm video right here when we celebrated after that touchdown. I salute my entire championship roster. Matthew, the wideout alchemist Stafford, #1 quarterback in AGS. Thank you to Rudy for cutting him in week 7. Travis Etienne, thank you, Quan, for dropping him before week 1. Chris, the cold-blooded Creole, my Bayou savior, Olave. Harold Fannin Jr., thank you, NJC, for the holiday gift last week. Rookie Travion, Patriot Missile Henderson, the future is bright. Jason, kicker of the North, automatic from the sound, Myers, the #1 kicker in AGS, and the Pats defense. This team conquered a season defined by historic, catastrophic injuries. This championship is for our fallen soldiers. Malik, IHOP icon, the future of the 5 boroughs, Neighbors, Patrick Mahomes, Tucker Kraft, Garrett Wilson, Rashi, Yak Machine Rice, and Quinshawn, the juggernaut Judkins. Rehab strong, fellas, and prepare to defend our crown in 2026. I'm more proud of this team than of any of the championship rosters that came before them because every week we had to replace a fallen soldier, and we hit on every waiver wire pickup. They kept the train moving forwards towards our ultimate goal, even as we were losing train cars left and right. I did this for Victoria's Secret. I did this for Adi and LJ, and most importantly, I did this for me. God bless America. God bless AGS. And God bless the 5-time champion Cebert motherfucking Frogs. Cheers, fellas.
Wow. Wow. That was pure cinema. That was amazing. That was amazing. Quan, now is your time. Well, you know what? Let's talk more about this performance here. I want to spend a little bit of time. Bijan Robinson truly came through in the most outstanding way. Back-to-back weeks, your top 2 offensive players, arguably, put up 40-plus points. And I was wondering when Stafford threw that last interception there before Puka's touchdown, how fucking nervous were you? How fucking nervous were you?
You know, it was hard for me to get super nervous because Quan was so nervous next to me. I mean, kudos to Quan. Clearly, you know, NJC's on record that he probably would never show up for a game like that with that much on the line, with no one playing, no skin in the game, going up against 3 of my best players. So kudos to Quan for showing up. You know, for me, it started with the decision. You know, I was at Awuma's wedding, and I'm just going, you know, we're supposed to be celebrating the wedding. We're at Mastro's Ocean Club, and I'm going table to table asking all the fantasy players, should I start Parker Washington or Travion Henderson? He just said clear concussion protocol. They're like, Lennon, shut the fuck up. Like, no one cares about your fantasy football game. We're here to celebrate a wedding. I'm like, this is a tough decision. So obviously, as par for the course, if you read the recap of my game, I'm the worst game day coach all season. I left more points on the bench than anybody else, and of course, I did it again in the Super Bowl. So I started off with that mistake. Had I had Parker Washington in, that game's probably over last night by halftime. The fact that I had Travion in and Stafford throwing 3 picks, almost had a fumble too that got called back on penalty. It was a slow bleed, and that I felt bad for Lou because that's just torture, man. I don't think I wrapped the game up until about 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. But yeah, that close. I did some data mining. I went back every single week to check those 3 players: Stafford, Puka, Bijan. What were they able to put up 56.5 points previously, right? Because that's what I needed to win last night. And the data showed that every single week 1 through week 16, they had scored 56.5 or higher every single game. The only time they didn't was their bye weeks. So coming in, I had the data to give me confidence. But the way that game started, man, it sucked. It sucked. Stafford and Puka were off. But once Bijan ran for that 98-yard touchdown, longest touchdown run of his career, man, then I just felt like the fantasy gods were on my side and I'd be able to figure it out.
Damn, Quan. And yeah, hats off to you for showing up. I mean, it's a good time to show up, win or lose, but to be on the losing side, especially as Frogs had mentioned, bleeding that thing out. There's 5 minutes left in the game, let's say, and you're thinking, fuck, 5 more minutes, please. God, what do I have to do right now? 5 more minutes. It's all I need. And then 60 seconds later, it's a wrap. I mean, you don't need to tell us how you feel, but I want to know, how did you feel?
Yeah, thanks, Nick, and once again, congratulations, Coop. So, first off, going into that game, I knew 56.5 was not enough. But I wanted to show up. I felt like the champion, especially to be at the Cosm for a game like that, the champion deserves for his opponent or to be there. So I showed up, and I told him when I got there, I was like, I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you. I came from work. I'm tired, but I'm here. I'm saying to watch, to be here to face the music. But regardless of that, there was hope. Not going to lie, there was some a glimmer of hope that possibly I could do it. Things really just once Bijan broke in the first quarter, had 30 points in the first quarter. He only needed 20-some points to win. I knew it was over then. But man, this one hurt, Naga. This one hurt a lot. I know that, and I can say this. I mean, it is a blessing to be in the championship 4 years in a row. It's a blessing to compete all the way to the end. It sucks losing, but dude, it just seems like the same shit just keeps happening over and over again. Team is, every year, and I think everyone can agree, the team that I have is stacked. Definitely, one of the more stacked team with superstars. Every year, I have top 5 wide receivers, 2 top 5 running backs, and a top 5 quarterback, and if not the best, the second best tight end. But come week 17, the curse of week 17, the Quan's week 17 curse has just stand true 3 years in a row. And I think possibly it's due to maybe my top players are Dallas and the Lions, who consistently play on Thanksgiving and Christmas, or who knows what it is. But going into this week, I knew things were scary because Dallas had Dallas, who majority of my players were, all played on the short week on Thursday. And then on top of that, including Amon-Ra St. Brown, I knew it was going to be rough. And exactly the worst happened. They had mediocre games, and I had to sit and live with that for another fucking 3 days till Sunday. And, I could go in player by player and how they underperformed. I'm not going to go deep into that. But, this one hurt. It's going to be rough. I don't know how dedicated I'm going to be this offseason. But to go to lose 3 times in a row, man, it's tough. But kudos to the champion, to Coop and his team. So that's about it. Just to recap the Cosm, Puka Nacua, Puka Nacua and Stafford. It was they needed like 3 points for like 2 fucking quarters.
Right.
And what kept making it worse is I was ready for it to end, but Stafford kept on pick, which then turned 3 points to 5 points, which then was like, well, damn, it's just going to prolong this thing. But that,
well, then I jumped up every time Puka had the bomb. Right, he had a bomb right to the 1 yard line, pull it back for a flag, go line up, take yards off. Then they completed a touchdown, bring it back. So every time you thought it was over, they gave you like this false lifeline.
Yeah, and it goes to show you like young star players are super valuable. Guys like Bijan that are youthful star players. I can remember the big final week 17 games of Jonathan Taylor when he was young. But now I have aging sort of post 25-year-old, 27-year-old star players. And in week 17, week 16, those guys are resting now. Where a guy like Bijan, Puka Nacua's, Chase Brown's, those guys are trying to win contracts right now and balling out in these weeks. So keep that in mind for people listening to this podcast or our fellow podcast mates. Those young star players perform well in the end, and show true to the champion. And I'm gonna leave let the floor. I'm sure it's a lot. I'm sure the rest of the pod has a lot more to say. But
well, Lou, the one thing that struck me was you said you're not sure about your level of dedication, and you've always been dedicated. You don't like giving up info on the podcast you listen to. I think you've definitely, I mentioned in my speech, you've inspired me to try harder and listen to more podcasts. I listen to more podcasts this offseason and during the season than I've ever done, and it definitely pays dividends. But the frustration is that deep that it would cause you to pull back a little bit.
I start listening to podcasts and doing my research now. I start diving in, looking at the college players, listening, seeing who's available, seeing if I can, but what I'm starting to see now though is that the league is getting smarter. Players that would normally fall to me they're not falling to me now. So, but you know what?
Wow.
You know what, Coach? This is we're 1 day out of this post loss. So the pain is still burning. I think things will change because I love this league. I love fantasy football, and to be honest, I have a good team returning. I will say, hey, Colston Loveland finishing the season is giving me a little bit of hope. I for this entire year thought he was a bust of a pick, and he's turned it around. So that's giving me a little bit of hope. It's one less pick that I have to, it gives me, I don't have to draft a tight end early now. So I'm sure come midseason, definitely leading up to the draft, I'll be all back in again. But this one hurt, man. I'm sure any of you guys can only imagine, but at the same time, thank you, fantasy gods. Thank you. I feel blessed to compete in the championship this many years in a row. If you guys could, and I say this again, maybe, BC belittles it, but it's extremely hard to make it this far that, it's hard enough to win a championship, but to make it that many times, it's tough. So,
Does that make it better for you? Do you find solace in that, or is it a point of frustration?
I find what can I say? I give gratitude to, I am great. I feel it would only be selfish to not be grateful to make it this far, especially when 10 other teams didn't make it. Many other teams barely making the playoffs. You know, I'm sitting here crying about making it to the championship 4 years in a row and winning a championship on the first run.
It's unprecedented,
You know?
man. It's unprecedented run. Not only almost the undefeated season, 13-0, 4 straight trips to the championship. Yeah, it hurts to lose, but you're a powerful franchise, man. I would fully expect you to be back in the running for it next season. Damn it, I lost my train of thought. I blame the Moet.
Let's not try to bring my spirits up.
Couple sips of Moet, just through that train.
It's about you, Coop. That was a great win. You drafted a hell of a team. I will tell you, in that draft, I missed on many players that you picked up. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Quincy Judkins, why did I pass on him? Although he was not vital or critical in you winning, very similar to many other franchises, we think we have the greatest draft picks, but who wins the championship for us? Our core players, that we've had for years, and that's who did it for you, Puka. And man, great waiver wire pickup in Chris Olave. Like, what the fuck? When I was confident in Chris Olave blowing a game, or I never even considered him a threat in looking at your lineup. And for weeks and weeks in a row, he's put up, over 20 points.
Super strong postseason. The thoughts came back to what the bubbles have popped. What I was going to say was, because of how well you play, you're cashing out every year, right? For the listeners, this isn't just a first place prize. Yes, did I win the prize this year? But second place isn't too shabby. I think it's, in our league, it's about $600 that you're cashing out every year. You're giving yourself the opportunity to come in first place. You're getting your 4 keepers. So that, regardless of the final result, that's what any of us want to do, right? You're here every year giving yourself a coin flip chance at a championship. I hadn't been here. I hadn't been in a Super Bowl, I don't think. Have I? Maybe once in the last
2020.
Yeah,
2020.
I think you played NJC.
Lost to NJC. So, and this is coming from a franchise who's won the most, right? This was a bleak 7-year stretch. So to give yourself that opportunity, that chance, you never know, man. And I don't know if there's anything to it about having you had a stacked squad from beginning to end and didn't really have any injuries. And it's one of those things, Rudy benefits from it. I think NJC, I think this year, me more so than any year prior, where I had so many injuries that I find a Chris Olave, I find a Harold Fannin Jr., I find a Travis Etienne. I got Jacoby Brissett in my lineup. Parker Washington. These are not guys that typically you would even have the space for because of the way our league runs, right? You can't just cut players and pick up random players because you have to keep that continuity moving forward every year. So, sometimes I think particularly this year, 125 points in the Super Bowl is not shabby at all. But I feel like that you particularly lose some of that flexibility to hit on these crazy people that win fantasy football championships, right? These guys that come out of nowhere to score crazy points in week 16 and 17.
Yeah.
100%. I can look at every single game that I lost. 2 years in a row with NJC. The first year I lost to NJC, the waiver wire pickup of
Zach Ertz.
Not Zach Ertz was last year. It was what's his name for the Browns? God damn it.
Oh, Njoku.
David Njoku that year. And the year, I want to say the year before I won the championship, when I went to the semifinals against NJC, the waiver wire pickup of that week was T. Higgins. And each year, correct, I've had these same guys in the championship every year. I think Joe Mixon and Kittle are now old and gone, but they were replaced. Not Kittle, Joe Mixon and Kelsey are now old and gone, but they're replaced by equal players in Javonte Williams and Kittle. And those are just guys you're not going to sit or you're not going to cut. And I have not had I wouldn't say the privilege, but I haven't had the ability,
the luxury,
to look for that waiver wire, pick up to throw on my flex, or throw on my tight end spot and win a game. True. Another thing for anybody listening to this pod, I mean, that flexibility is key, certainly towards the end. And, that's it. One good thing I would say, I wouldn't want to say good thing. I'm happy you won by as much as you did, because it certainly would have me even more had that the great game that Drake May had would have won me that game. That would have sucked majorly. But even if he played, it wouldn't have won that game.
I mean, that would have taken us down to 30 seconds left. I mean, that would have.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned the Christmas games, and that sucks as well. And I agree with you. Thanksgiving, you have players on teams that play on these holidays. It was a short week. I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited about you having such a short turnaround for some of your best players. But to double down on that, you mentioned Christmas. We kind of saw CeeDee Lamb's play on Christmas Day, and something to me seemed a little off. 7.5 points. And I just thought it was hilarious. Friday night, what is that? The day after Christmas, I'm walking through Caesar's Palace, and who do I see playing roulette in the casino but CeeDee Lamb at Caesar's Palace? So clearly his eye was off of the ball that this week.
CeeDee Lamb is interesting, man. He clearly, and I was texting NJC during the championship game, and I was telling him, like, dude, this dude looks 100% checked out. I don't know what the hell happened, but he didn't care two shits about that game. There was deep balls thrown to him where he didn't even make an effort to catch it. There was balls that he dropped that he did not show any frustration for dropping the ball. There was balls that were thrown maybe a little bit underthrown, where he's looking at Dak Prescott like, yelling that it's his fault. I don't know what's going on there. I know that George Pickens is playing for a contract, and maybe CD is like, hey, it's your time. I'm not really here to play. I can care less. We're out. You go ahead and get it. But that was I don't know. It looked really selfish. And then on the flip side, to see a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who they're playing for nothing, and clearly they're having offensive line trouble, and that dude is going hard every single play, diving, putting himself on the line, getting hurt, getting back up. And I'm just not seeing that dog at CeeDee Lamb, man. So that hurt. That's interesting. He may be the next diva to spiral out. So if anything, he's on the block, fellas.
Hey, Quan, I don't want to potentially cause you any more sleepless nights than you're bound to have, but I just did some quick maths, and you may have left a win on the bench, maybe.
Oh yeah, when I put it all together, like if I started Colston Loveland, and I think one of those defenses I didn't start,
And
plus Drake May, I think maybe I would have won by 1 point. I think maybe.
Maybe.
Are you also counting Zay Flowers like over a CeeDee Lamb? Scott?
Oh, I mean, come on, like
not something like not something like that. But like he said, one of those defenses plus Loveland and May would have done it for him.
Maybe.
And those are the decisions that anybody I think would have struggled with, because you're like, oh man, that matchup for Loveland doesn't look good.
I could see something.
I could see why you started Prescott, because he was facing the Commanders. Even the
but
Jets
May was facing the Jets. So just walk us through that decision, because that's one
so
you got.
I would have definitely played May in that game.
So I went back and forth. So all season, Drake May and Dak Prescott are always within 1 or 2 points, 3 or 4 points of each other. And it's pretty much a coin flip with them. So I started looking at other factors. Like at Christmas, fuck me, man. Because I usually wait till Sunday morning. I'm looking at weather conditions, looking at other key players that skilled players that may be hurt, offensive linemen, to try to really make a decision on the best player to start, looking at the defense to see what players are healthy and all of that. But because they're playing on Thursday versus Sunday, I didn't have the ability to do that. So I literally just had to look at matches. And so I looked at I was looking at weather conditions. The weather forecast for in New Jersey was snowing, winds, and all that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go with Dak. And Dak has consistently put up 30-plus points against Washington. CeeDee Lamb has put up over 20 points. The last game that they played, Javonte Williams put up over 20 points. And which, had he been healthy, if you combine his points with Davis, he would have had over 20 points. But he got hurt in the first quarter. Thank God he gave me a touchdown. But that's what that's the thought process I went into with starting Dak. And to be honest, 30 points, I can't be mad at that. It was still 30 points. That was a good showing. If you said, hey, he's going to get you 30, but you still got Drake May, I would say give me the 30. But that was it. It was the weather on Thursday. The weather forecast for New Jersey was terrible. Come Sunday, clear skies. So like, all right, well, there we go. So.
Yeah, man. Well, congratulations to you, Cebert Frogs, for the fantastic season. At one point, worst team in the league, and just savviness and putting it all together. I said it all season long. You two were in a tier of your own, and it really truly is remarkable that you could lose so many starters, still put up, $120 pretty much every week. Very impressive. Quan, not the dynasty you claim you are, but it is really impressive that you go 4 straight. It is hard to even get into the playoffs, let alone make it to the last game. And you always put together great teams. And you always make some money. And also you too, NJC, as we pivot to your matchup with Rudy, you also keep 4 keepers. You guys are in kind of golden territory. I mean, it's good enough to have 3 keepers, and it's good enough to win money. And of course, it's the best to be the champ. But 4 keepers, man, oh man. NJC, you failed to 3-peat. Sorry, you can't win them all. But you still had a really good season. And there were weeks where you couldn't even score 80 points, man. Like, you couldn't even score 80 points. And somehow, with that silly ass hat, you managed to make it all the way to the end. Talk to us a little bit.
Did Dominique leave that at your house? It looks like Indiana
man.
Boo's that.
Man. I'll say the reason. I'll say the reason why for the top 3, but it was bittersweet. Yes, I had some revelations. Hindsight is always 20/20. I think that Lou hit on something. I actually want to go back before I talk about the game. Lou, I do not besmirch your 5 visits to the Super Bowl. I've said it repeatedly that I do agree that you have put together an awesome squad. I just have beef with your winning percentage. That's the only shit that I talk about it. But there's no one on here or no one in the league is going to disagree that you definitely have elite fantasy knowledge and you've put together and maintained an awesome squad. So, just wanted to put that on record. Otherwise, it was bittersweet, man. You did, Lewis, say that the league has gotten smarter. That's absolutely true. The league has also changed. Quarterbacks have changed. And I think that Lennon, a strategy that you and I agreed upon and shared for many years of play your studs, maybe, sometimes it's, when do you play your studs? Because, sometimes there are wild cards that you can pick up off a waiver wire. Look at a Michael Wilson. Look at Parker Washington. I
fell into that trap again. I go with the guy that I drafted, my stud Travion Henderson, at least my showing loyalty, and kind of similar to what Lou just said. If you showed me the stats, if you showed me the final score of the game was 42-10 Patriots, if you told me that in that game Travion Henderson had 19 carries, yeah, I'm going to start him. But clearly it was the wrong decision. Parker Washington outscored him by 9 points.
No, and that's the thing, right? Like you look at a Justin Jefferson, who's arguably the bust of the season. You look at a Drake London, and then you look at a Luther Burden on the bench with 25, right? And we go back to that game with Loveland. I think Lou, like I know if I was getting the notifications you were, Odunze and Zacchaeus were having issues the whole week. And it's like, you think about it, Caleb Williams, they are fighting for position. And I didn't anticipate that to be the shootout that it was, but they were cooking, man. So,
Yeah,
sometimes you got to roll the dice. Sometimes you stick with a stud. I don't know what the recipe is, man.
yeah. Tom just didn't have a bad game, and I don't know if
Not
you
at
guys
all.
know this. I know, I know. Sometimes I don't see what other teams are doing with players, but I don't know if you guys know this, but I pretty much just discovered. But I would say I settled on Tonjes maybe because Kittle was hurt the majority of the season, and I was going through the carousel of tight ends. All those tight ends that you guys picked off waivers at one time was on my team. Harold Fannin Jr. was the first one I picked up. Then I think it was Jonnu Smith, and I had the Jonnu Smiths. I think I even toyed around with Pitts for a minute, but ultimately I ended up settling on Tonjes, who was giving me decent points while Kittle was gone. So he had my trust, and that's why I started him over Loveland, who has put up donuts. So,
No,
you guys
I get it.
are talking about that Bears-Niners game and the shootout that it was. Rudy, you got a little excited there, man. You think you found you're a 49er yourself now. You found a golden nugget in Brock Purdy, so much so that you're contemplating coming over to the gold side. Bang bang, Rudy. You want to talk about Brock Purdy? He's giving you butterflies these days, huh?
Man, I don't know what it is. The last 3 weeks, Brock Purdy has just put my franchise in a whole new on a whole new level, man. Look. I don't know. He was out there looking like Steve Young, if you ask me, man. He was right. He was in there rushing in, got me 2 touchdowns on the ground, and he was
I
in
was
there
fucking
dug in
pissed.
and everything.
And he was dancing and shit.
He was in there getting loose with it. So I gotta roll with it. I mean, I hate that I have to only have 3 keepers, but I gotta keep them, man. I'm revamping a whole lot of things when it comes to the NFL team or anything like that. I don't know until, like I said, until the Davis bloodline dies off.
Well, as Quan famously said earlier in the season, and we'll fact check this: when your quarterback's white, it's thrown right. So, I mean, welcome to the club, I guess. Go figure.
Man, I had to hop on the fucking Octoroon trade to get close to white with Tyler Show to even try to fucking counter offer that fucking 46 point fucking just shitting he did. And I'm sitting here watching the game and I'm just like, first quarter, the fucking score is like 15-14. I'm like, fuck, it's about to be a fucking shootout. I'm like, please get the ball to McCaffrey. Please get the ball. Let it be a Derrick Henry game. No, this nigga wanted to put up fucking 5 touchdowns?
No.
Hey,
Pretty much,
Rudy,
but just like my loss with Quan and my loss with you, I just wish I had one more quarter. Just one more quarter. That's just
Rudy.
That's it. I'll put it like that. That's my season. One more quarter.
Rudy, you had a hell of a season. Nobody hit on waivers like you did. I know the champion hit on Chris Olave, but you literally put together waiver wire starters until you had your core team and went all the way. The Pitts Wilson pickups were amazing. Is Bucky Urban under contract, or is his contract expired?
Bucky Urban, I'm done with that contract. He'll be on he'll be in the free agency.
Hey, but on a positive side, I think you get all your contracts back for this draft, Rudy. First time in a long time.
Yeah. Anthony Richardson being done with whatever he's done with, and I think George Pickens was the other one that I was waiting to expire, I believe so, on Scum's roster. So yeah, that's no big ups. I got my first. I think I can speak well for my first 3 picks, and then Still glad that I was able to pick up T. Higgins in the fourth, negotiating with Quan up there, and the free agents, the waiver wire pick, man, that's a rush in its own right. You want to throw in that last Tetris piece to win the game. So I'll always remember 12-11. So
That's like the
so
Viagra pill for fantasy football right there. You just grab a nice
yeah,
waiver.
yeah, that's good. That's a good way to give it.
Speaking
next thing you know,
of,
you
speaking of,
just
And that's tough to do with all those teams struggling and needing pieces to add to their team. Rudy, you're sitting there consistently hitting on the waiver wire and in competition with everyone else who's trying to add players every single week. So that is, that is that's a skill that I haven't had to try to develop. So I don't even know what that's like, but you seem to be the best at it for sure.
years of desperation, my kind sir. Years of desperation.
Rudy was ahead of the curve.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Rudy gets his contracts back, and it just made me think of the rookie contracts that I had to shed before the season. And it actually circles back to your discussion about listening to podcasts and advice and whatnot. Nobody said that Javonte Williams and Chris Olave would be great fantasy football players coming into the season. And I drafted them as rookies and rode their contracts out, and then just cast them away off to the number 1 and number 2 seeds. Go figure.
Look at that. And they came to two glorious franchises and made a Super Bowl.
I fucking feel like that. I feel like the fantasy football Raiders right now, man. It's like Devontae Adams leaves and he's like, oh, I'm on the Super Bowl team now. I'm playing on the Rams,
Yeah, Devontae Adams. Fuck him, man. Fuck him and his hamstring.
That's super frustrating. Super frustrating.
Hey, I'll tell you what, in the semifinal game, I was glad he was out because Puka ate like crazy. But in week 17, I wish he was there because I think Stafford would have had a much better game if he was there to help him out.
Yeah, you could see that.
You.
Yeah.
Nick, it was gratifying having Javonte Williams. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I know.
I feel like you sniped him from me in the draft 4 or 5 years ago. And to circle around and get him, and him having his best year of his career it felt good. If only he could have stayed healthy week 17.
I sniped him 4 or 5 years
too
early.
At the end, he left a lot of points on the field, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was his injury? Was it a knee injury?
It was a shoulder injury. And he, unlike CeeDee Lamb, was eager to still try to come back in the game, and it just couldn't work.
They ran the ball like crazy. What did they have, like 35 rushing attempts in that game?
Yeah, man.
Damn. Well, you always want to look like you want to get back in the game. You don't want to look like you don't want to get back in the game. You're always like, yo, fucking put me in. You know you can't get in. But
yeah, I was hoping they was going to put fucking Blake Corum back in the game, but they wanted to keep feeding fucking Kyron.
Corum's injury didn't look good. We were there at Cosm. It leaves the regular TV broadcast, but it continues at Cosm, and we got to watch him all the way to the bench, and he looked like he was in a lot of pain, grabbing his leg. Speaking of Cosm, Rudy got to come out his first time. I think he sat there speechless for the first 30 minutes. Rudy, what'd you think about Cosm?
Yo, my eyes are on meth. That was wild. Sitting there, I'm looking at Kyron Williams from here all the way going right here. So it was that was dope. I
should have saw Rudy.
I almost came into my house. I almost came into my house last night and broke all the TVs. I said, "Fuck it, fuck it." Yeah, everything in here is obsolete. Nothing matters in this house anymore. Not a remote control.
That is hilarious.
No
you said
Apple,
that.
Google TV, nothing. Man, it was fantastic. It was awesome. It was dope, man. Speechless.
Rudy, it's so hilarious you said that, bro. As soon as I came from the Cosm, I go home like, I wonder how much 100-inch TV is gonna be in this motherfucker. Can I put one on the ceiling? Can I make it open up when something happens? Like,
right.
There was a point during the pregame where Rudy, I looked over and Rudy was like catching snaps from Stafford. Like, he was running routes.
Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. No, but seriously, Rudy.
I ran a banana out. You didn't see it? I ran a banana out. Yeah, 5 and out. Whatever.
These
Fuck, I don't
water
give a
All
girls.
shit.
bullshit aside. All
He's
bullshit
paying his water
aside, though,
girls.
Rudy. You had a great season, man. And I meant what I said, bro. Like, seeing greatness on and off the field. You know what I'm saying? What you've gone through, and to just see you making, you had a solid draft this season and a pickup, what you've picked up off the waiver wire, bro. It's good. It's good to see you back, man. And unfortunately, like you said, at one more quarter, it was a wrap, bro, because Drake London didn't do shit all game. So yeah, absolutely, man. So cheers to that, man.
Hey, NJC, you mentioned something on the thread about underwear kissing at Cosm. I'm sorry, man. That one went over my head.
Yeah,
What
I
was
figured
that?
it would come back to the pod. So I created that term on the way to Big Bear because we were going up the mountain and a boulder like struck a car and like traffic was just shut down for like hours, bro. So I was like, ooh, damn, I puckered. I kissed my underwear. So that's where that came from. So that's why I was saying, like, at
That's good.
that fourth quarter, I bet there was a whole bunch of underwear kissing at that table. I think Scum got it, but yeah, that's my new little thing, underwear
I had
kissing.
this visual of like fucking pants and underwear getting sucked into an ass crack. I don't know where I've seen that in some movie, but speaking of mysteries, I'm curious about this enigma you're wearing on your head, NJC. Can you break into the top three and unpack this whole hat situation?
I love it. Hey, you know what? If there were trophies we got other than bobbleheads, Scum, you would get the fucking host of the fucking decade award, bro, because you're the best at keeping things on point. NJC's final top three of 2025. All right, the championship reckoning. Crown the winners and shame the chokers. Welcome to the grand finale of NJC's top three. The 2025 season has reached its end, and while one owner is currently popped and drinking his champagne, another is staring at their bench in absolute agony. We've got a third place statement, a tactical disaster, and a runner-up spot, and a number one moment that cements a legacy of heartbreak. Now that the Vussy is officially out of the league, the floor is open for a new brand of accidental failure. Let's unveil the final carnage of the year. At number 3, NJC versus Rudy's the bronze statement. We kick off with a battle for the podium. NJC finishes the season with their heads held high, putting an exclamation point on the year by taking down Rudy's by double digits. This wasn't just a win, it was a reminder that NJC stays dangerous until the final whistle. Here is the salt in the wound. NJC's 129.5 points would have won the Super Bowl. Let that sink in. While the finalists were busy overthinking their lineups, the number 3 squad put up a score that would have claimed the ring. Oh, it would have
a little early.
Oh, no.
129?
I mean, how much did Lewis put up?
Oh, you're saying if you had beat me.
Yeah. Almost all of us would have beat Lewis this weekend.
Okay.
It's okay.
Wait,
he's got a little bit of
wait,
he's
your
got
top
some
three-
Moet going.
You would have beat the guy that came in second place? Is that what you're talking about?
We'll let this one sink in a little bit later on for you.
All right.
How'd you
Cebert
have beat me?
Frogs at number 2. Cebert Frogs versus Ambassadors of Quan, the bench press disaster. Our number 2 spot goes to a game that was won on the field but lost in the coaching office. The Cebert Frogs are your winners with 143 points. But the real story is that Quan had every opportunity to win this and completely choked. The tactical failure. Quan finished with 125, but look at that bench. It's a graveyard of championship dreams. He left a staggering 44 points from Drake May on the Pine, along with 19 points from Colston Loveland, but chose Tonjes for understandable reasons. The savage truth. You had a roster to put this game into your second championship, but you froze. To leave all those points on the sidelines in the Super Bowl is a tactical nightmare that will haunt this team all summer. At number 1, the accidental championship, the failing dynasty. Stop the presses. Our number 1 moment is a definitive collapse of an ego. For years, we have heard and had to listen to the Ambassadors of Quan lecture this league about his dynasty. We've sat through seasons of process talk and watched him try to be humble while flashing that meaningless first-place regular season record like it's a Lombardi trophy. The failing dynasty. Let's call it what it is, a failing dynasty. You've been to 5 Super Bowls now, sir. Your record, a pathetic 1-4. After beating Truth in 2022, you've gone on a run of pure futility, losing 3 straight Super Bowls back to back to back. The Hall of Heartbreak. 2018 lost to Truth. 2023, yours truly. 2024, yours truly. And now, 2025, another L handed to you by the Frogs. A dynasty builds a trophy case. You're building a collection of second-place ribbons. The Sugandese comparison. While Quan tries to salvage a legacy built on silver medals, Sugandese is playing the long game of failure, horribly tanking his way to the number 1 overall pick next year. The final blow. With the Vussy gone, these two are the new faces of the accidental championship. One guy is racing to the bottom, and the other, Quan, is the king of the almost. 3 straight finals losses, a bench full of winning points, and a dynasty that is officially bankrupt. Absolutely legendary failure. And before that's it, I'll explain to you this hat. I'm hunting accidental champions, and I think I found one. Anyhow, season 2025 is in the books. To the winner, enjoy the glory. To the failing dynasty and the tank commander, Sugandese, thanks for giving us someone to laugh at. You've been listening to NJC, and I'll see you next season, and we'll do it all over again.
Shots fired.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I understand why you're taking shots at Quan. Why'd you rub Sugandese into this? What happened?
Well, I mean, he's the only other person with 1 championship.
No, he's not.
Well,
The
I
Pimps?
believe Pimps has 1 championship as well. But anyhow, to remove
And it was 3
that
decades ago, I think.
ridiculous fucking argument, that's ridiculous. It's just all hater talk there. It's just all hater talk. Accidental champion doesn't win a championship and come back 4 years in a row, make it, doesn't finish the season 13-1, doesn't have all-time point scoring. That shows a franchise that's put together. That's what it is. It's an accident that I haven't won more championships. That's the accident. But you know what? I expect that from the half-white monkey, sensitive thug, wannabe relationship talk, wannabe like the rest of us in our loving lives. I expect hater talk like that from the crocodile Kundi to try to shit on my success in every way that he can. Congratulations to you and your 3rd place this year. Rub those former trophies you have and your false claim of a championship game last week, which was another weak, light-skinned ass statement, and take that top 3 bitch ass speech and shove it up that French white asshole of yours. And I will
Crocodile
collect,
Coon D on the fly. That's
Paragraphs.
an all-timer.
Paragraphs.
and I will collect my second place prize for the 4th year in a row while you relish in your measly 3rd place. And you go back to the bottom of the depths of this league, as I will continue to kick your ass year after year and rub it in your
so
face.
angry. He's
more
so
and more.
mad.
No,
He's
this,
so
this
mad.
This is going to be as long as you took to put together. This is off the cuff. That chat GPT shit you put together is whack compared to the reality that's in your face right now.
Oh my gosh.
So take it
Dude.
off.
You brought the real Lou out. It only took 17 weeks.
It took 17 weeks. It took me long enough. God damn, I've been prying at the lock. Been prying. Oh man. Hey Lou, that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
I am not
welcome.
offended. That means it hurt. That comment hurt. But no. Keep in mind, I have 5 people coming back next season. So my team, I will be seeing you in competitive nature again.
Good
I
luck
have
with that. And 0 picks.
I was about to say,
Hey,
it's a good thing you
zero
got that
picks.
extra keeper.
Hey, that's
you also
fine.
don't have for the first 5 picks.
Yeah.
That's okay. That is okay.
Right.
I am okay with that.
You have to be.
There is hope. There is a new, I think Luther Burden is about to be fresh. It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be a nice year. So
Yeah, 5 is
Roma
a good start.
Roma Doomsday was supposed to be good in his sophomore season.
hey man, we'll see.
Or Jaden Daniels for that matter. I mean,
That's
there's
okay.
a lot of you never know. You never ever do know. For the record though, I do have to do a correction and retraction here. Quan had been workshopping the crocodile name pre-pod a little bit early on. So
Yeah, it wasn't off the cuff.
it wasn't off the
I
cuff.
let him
I
do it.
missed it during my technical difficulties. My bad.
Yeah, you did, but it was actually funnier the 3rd time.
It was funny. It was funny. I let him flow with it. Because it was hilarious. It was beautiful. It's great because if Quan was thinking about falling off and not being engaged, I guarantee you he's gonna fucking get off this pod and start reading and listening to podcasts now.
Yeah, man. And he does a really good job of keeping composed throughout the season, and it was just the fucking. Was there an evil version? I feel like there's an evil version of Carlton. I just watched The Fresh Prince last night.
Yeah. When he went to the hood and had the wave cap on. At the
Yeah, they call it
apartment.
C-note.
Was it when he went to Philly? It's when he went to Philly.
No, he went to
C-note.
he went to LA. They
Oh,
went
was
to
it
LA,
C-note?
Echo
Okay,
Park or
C-note.
something.
Yeah, that was
MacArthur
C-note.
Park or whatever.
that was on.
MacArthur Park.
Yeah.
MacArthur
Yeah.
Park. I feel like we got C-note out of Lou. I think we got almost the
He was
C-note
selling
version of
Doochie
Lou.
bags or whatever the hell.
Doochie
Hey
bag.
yo, why you fronting? Why you dissing me, man?
Why you playing me, Prince?
You playing Prince?
Why you playing me, Prince? That's what it is.
How you talking like that? Yo, how you playing me, Prince?
Hey, fucking Rudy is back, man. You got the movie quips. I love it, man. I missed all the movie quips because you had them all. You knew them all.
Yeah, those are facts. Rudy, you are kind of the Smithsonian of
Hell yeah.
quotes. You can really pull that
yes,
shit
he
out.
is.
Yeah. Those are
My
cool.
family was I was working on something in my office, and downstairs they're watching Stand By Me, and I hear fat ass, and I'm like, is that where it came from, Rudy? You just dropped that on the pod, and pure coincidence, it's playing in my living room.
That's crazy. I just watched that movie the week that Rob Reiner got stabbed by his son. I was like, oh man, he directed one of my favorite all-time movies ever, Stand By Me.
And many deployments, many hours of watching movies on post.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sick of
Hilarious.
That's all you got. Got
No,
time.
it's all good, Luke. Quan, you know it's all love, man. You know the NJC has to be spicy.
Here.
You know I love you. No,
Reinvigorated.
man,
It's tough. Mhm.
I'm excited for next season, man. I think we can all agree that we're at kind of a crossing roads in the NFL where all the old talent is now being replaced by the new talent. So in a dynasty league where, like you have, to quote Quan, that you said, there's players on teams that we will never have the opportunity to have on our team. These are the times when, you can reload and try to scout for new talent and try to see if you can, fortify teams for the future. So pretty excited for the offseason and looking forward to recouping in San Diego.
Yeah.
This was an interesting year, and this next draft, I'm interested to see what happens. There is this year. I think trends happen in this draft. The previous draft, a lot of guys hit on rookies. So this draft comes in, everybody's drafting rookies. And what happens? The old heads hit. All the old fucking, washed away players who are supposed to become backups hit this year. So we'll see what the trend is this coming up draft, and who's going to benefit from it.
I think it's fair to say there were probably 3 rookies that hit. There were 2 of Lennon's running backs. There was Ibuka. I mean, we didn't have enough.
Look, when Lennon won a championship, I don't think it was because of Judkins and Henderson.
No, but I would say that those guys, he feels, and don't let me put words in your mouth there, Coop. Pause.
You can put whatever you want in my mouth.
His future is bright. His future is bright for sure with them.
Oh.
But I think his championship was won by by Puka and Bijan and
the rookies were role players. They were spot starts throughout the season. Travion hit 4 or 5 times, had huge games. There was a period where Judkins was a must start for maybe a month, but not consistently every week.
I want to say when that Rashid Rice and Puka combination was scary at one point.
And it really sucks that I wish, because the week that Rashid Rice had a concussion, that's the week you subbed in Olave, because the roster was different that week. You would have so let me ask that question. Thank you, Quan. Rice doesn't have a concussion. You play Rice over Olave in that game?
Yeah. I think I started Mahomes too. There were, whenever I had an opportunity with a good matchup, I was matching up that stack of Mahomes and Rice. Rice, for me, for the majority of the season, again, was a guy that I kept. And, you die by your start your studs, but I definitely I favored him over Olave. Olave was a guy I picked up off of waivers. Olave was a guy that got cut, by Scum and 2 other teams before he fell on my roster. So I had doubts. I had my own doubts about him, and I was forced to play him. And every time I was forced to play him, he balled out. And, after he did that 3, 4, 5 times, I'm like, he earned his role in the postseason, and then and then I was rewarded for it. But for sure, he was lower on the pecking order than Rashid Rice for the majority of my season.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, great stack, man. I know Quan, you mentioned you got some family coming in, and I want to get this in before we sign off for the evening. Can you think of something going into next season that you'll tell yourself you won't do? A lesson you learned? I can rip a couple off the top. I can get this thing started here. I won't draft a rookie quarterback ever again. I won't cut 2 starting running backs ever again. We'll just pass the mic there. Anybody else got anything? Things you won't do next draft heading into the fantasy football season?
I won't cut Garrett Wilson for Colby Parkinson in the playoffs. No, honestly, that was a move to prove to myself I was willing to go all in for the championship. Garrett Wilson was not going to be a keeper, but I also didn't want to just hand him off to another team. But when I made that decision, that's when I felt like, all right, we're going balls to the wall. Like, we got to do whatever it takes to try and win a championship. We have an opportunity. We're there. Accidental, non-accidental. My championship this year feels accidental, right? I was not supposed to win. I do not know how, in God's name, after losing that many players, I was hitting high score after high score after high score at the end of the season, right? With all those players out. So that I was just like, you got it when it's here, man. And I think it's Stuart Smothers that gave me this piece of fantasy advice. And he's like, I would always ask about building for the future, and he was like, "Fuck the future. Like, you want to win this year. You want to win every year. Make the moves that are going to pay off this year. Worry about the future next year."
Oh, so the NJC strategy comes out the lips of a Smothers, and all of a sudden it makes sense. Oh, okay, makes sense. Got it.
Well, he's got more melanin than you, so I could trust him.
Oh, okay, understandably so. Oh, got it.
That's the fucking quote of the night right there.
Got
That
it.
was amazing. Quan, you look like you got something you want to say.
So Nick, I will piggyback on you. The year I drafted Trevor Lawrence, I took every year I try to take notes for things that I will never do, and one of them was after drafting Trevor Lawrence, I put him under contract. I said I'll never draft a rookie quarterback and sign him under contract again. Just looking into in the draft, there's always quarterback talent. No matter what. I don't think there's ever been a season where there hasn't been quarterback talent either on waiver wires or in the late rounds. It's just why, and which makes me question Awumi and why he keeps searching for the great quarterback to put under contract. But I will say, if you do hit, you hit big, because that's one less pick you have to make. Things I won't do. One thing that this year that I did that I won't do. I've already thought about this in past seasons and pretty much have my own formula. So I wouldn't say there's anything I would do different this season. The luck just did not go my way once again. So I don't really have anything to add.
I mean, it went your way for 13 straight weeks.
It
went your way for a couple, like one more
We're
week
all
after
open,
that,
though.
and then
I just drank the ones that were open in the fridge.
Yeah.
I got one.
your mic's on.
I will not take
Hot mic.
a old, injured, coming off injury running back in the 4th round ever again. I drafted a running back by the name of Joe Mixon who played 0 snaps in the 2025 season.
Oh, I'll say one thing I want, because it was a huge mistake that I made. I will not overthink the dropping of Travis Etienne was super emotional. I will trust a coach. I will trust history over what I believe to be a talent. I am not a talent scout. I looked at Tank Bigsby and thought he had everything you want in a running back, and ignored all the signs of the Jaguars organization loving Travis Etienne. And it was like, why would you want to keep Etienne when you have Bijan Robinson? Liam Cohen on numerous occasions gave press conferences when he said he was super impressed with Travis Etienne, and I just ignored it because I loved Tank Bigsby. Tank Bigsby is a player I put under contract 2 years prior to that. I scouted him in college, and I just went deep down the rabbit hole and obsessing over him being such a great talent, and ignoring the signs of teams just not buying in on him. So I won't do that. I won't. It's about. I'll focus more on on the team than I will the player.
I think that kind of lends itself to what I won't do again. In a similar vein, Quan. I think that my desperation this season was quarterback, and I was sold on the picks that I wanted, right? Like I couldn't drop Lamar, but I kept interviewing different quarterbacks, and I kept getting locked in on the options that I had on my roster when there were other options sitting on the waiver wire. There was a Brock Purdy, there was a Trevor Lawrence, there were opportunities to. There was a Brissett who was, like you said, Coop was putting up 40 burgers for like 3 or 4 weeks in a row. So I think I fell in love with my roster, and I fell in love with the opportunities that I thought that the quarterbacks that I had. So yeah, sometimes you got to be willing to make the hard choice or make a different choice, and not kind of be so laser focused on what's in front of you. Because dude, MK, Rudy, like you said, Wilson was sitting there for a long time. Washington was sitting there for a long time. Pitts was sitting that day he put up that 45 burger. He was just sitting on a waiver wire with the most points targeted. You know what I'm saying? So we all fell in love with our rosters. We all fell in love with our bench. And, you know, I think sometimes you got to be willing to say, yeah, you know, what has gotten me here, what hasn't, and what am I willing to risk? So that's it for me. Because like you said, man, we can't keep giving all these fucking gems because in the next fucking season is going to be that more fucking difficult, man. That's what I'm never going to do. I'm never going to give out any fucking gems on the goddamn waiver wire. I'm going to tell you guys to pick fucking Anthony Richardson up again and keep him locked up. Fuck.
After tonight.
Hey, I'll add one more thing. I think Coop can agree. Also, I won't hesitate on selling high. Brian Thomas Jr., I knew I didn't need him. I wasn't going to keep him. Didn't need him to finish out the season. And I had an opportunity to sell him for a first-round draft pick. Then it was a second. And by the time the draft deadline came, it was a third pushed 2 years out. I could have sold him high long time ago, but I was being greedy, and that'll come back to hurt you.
I
Scum.
think
I
picks
think-
for fucking Jefferson are going to hurt me. So we'll see about that one.
I think my similar to everybody else. I think the quarterback position is this. Well, one, I will not with my contracts back. I will not use any of my contracts on quarterbacks, not just yet, because I still have PTSD with picking quarterbacks. If you really look at who I go with, especially in the few years that I have playoff runs, that I just go my quarterback picking is not the best. I think the best.
Don't trade him away either, Rudy. Hold on to him. You got him back.
I think the record was my first pick ever in this draft was Drew Brees, and I gave him up after 4 weeks
Thank you.
to that fucker. So
Lenny, you can also thank him for Matthew Stafford too. Give him another high five for that one.
Oh shit.
man, I made my decision or anything like that. You need to deal with your Drake May issues over there, so you can go fuck yourself.
Hey, you know, all that time I was trying to get Baker Mayfield from you, I just assumed Stafford was not available. Not even.
And that
After the trade deadline, you dropped him. I was like, what the fuck?
Add that to
nah,
You
your,
mean all I
I
had
was
to
more
do was wait
I was more
another
into
week, I
Baker
could get him
Mayfield
off
because
waivers?
I had his weapons.
you
I had
gotta
more of
look
his
under every
weapons than
rock,
anything,
Quan. I
so-
will always look under every rock.
Hey, that was another huge. I mean, I could have saved my pick and had Stafford instead of Dak Prescott, and he's a Ram too.
You had Drake May the last few weeks. I don't understand what you're talking about.
Well, if I had Stafford, Frogs wouldn't have had Stafford.
So you just would have easily just played Stafford over Drake May.
No, I probably would have played Drake May, but Stafford would have sustained. The point is I wouldn't have wasted a pick on Dak had I known that you were going to drop Stafford.
Yeah, and without Stafford, what am I rolling out? Jacoby Brissett to finish the season?
Oh no. Oh no, that did not play out the way people thought it would. That's for sure. Not the last 2 weeks.
Dude,
That's
a
for
lot of I mean, Ibuka disappeared. Gibbs, I didn't see Gibbs fucking disappearing in the playoffs.
Their entire offensive line is decimated.
Yeah.
So Gibbs is basically running into
Well,
5 players. So,
They're missing Ben Johnson a little bit too over there.
Oh,
yeah,
so
I don't know if he can juke his way around the entire
So much.
defensive line.
I don't know if any of you guys are into numerology, but while you folks were talking, I was looking at the history of winners, and Frog, you won your first championship in 2010. I probably don't need to tell you that. You followed up with your second in 2013, then your third in 2016. So you had every 3 years hitting, then you went back to back, and then you had that 7-year stretch. So I can see why you were so ravenous for this title, having won so many. I don't know if this means another 3-year window for you here, but all of us here, I think what I'm so excited about is that you're not a villain of the league, but there's something to aspire to. Like, oh, the Dodgers, the Yankees are back on top. Like, all right, like the big teams are back. It's almost like a reset in some way. I can't really explain it, but it's exciting. And I think actually it makes me feel better because it's not some of these other assholes I came into the league with winning these fucking championships, like NJC winning 3, or Quan showing up a few years later and just, I've been to 5, or, Booty Voodoo, or fucking even
Oh, I didn't
Sugandhi.
just show up and start winning championships.
I know
bro.
you didn't, but I know
It
you
took
did
7 years to get into pay dirt for me, brother.
Yeah,
Hey, I'll
anyone
tell you what,
can.
man. I was not joking with that Thanos video that I posted to the thread. I feel like it was like this ultimate effort of 7 years of sucking and, finally finally making a couple good moves here and building a roster to compete, taking a lot of shit from people. And I was talking to Awumi, and I want to shout out a little bit about Vegas and Allegiant Stadium before we get off, but I feel like I could rest seriously after this win. Like, I feel like this win cemented, my status in the league. I needed a modern day championship. All of them were old and dusty. I needed one. I have it. It was an incredible journey to the finish line. It was an incredible team that brought this victory. And I honestly, of course, we're going to be playing for a long time, and I'll fight for more, and I'll want to win more. But I honestly can say that I did it. I did it, as Quan would say, at the most competitive time in AGS history. It's only getting more competitive every year. And I won one. I won one. I won a modern day one. I have 5. I'd love to keep that distance from above everybody else, but I could die happy with 5, man. I'm happy I did it, and we'll shoot for more, but I don't have anything left to prove after this year.
Certainly not. Well said. Well done. With that, I do want to hear about your Allegiant Stadium experience. I was curious to know what that was like for you. So take us through your little Vegas trip here, and then we can put a bow on it for the regular season.
Yeah, just to start out, man, the only reason I was there was thanks to who's coming in second, Joe Awumi. I want to give him and his lovely wife, Monique, my cousin, Alexis's cousin, a shout out, man. It's you don't realize how much you love somebody and you miss somebody until you get the whole family together. It was about 30, 40 folks out in Vegas, and it was just like, we didn't want to leave, man. We're having so much fun. The cousins, they were real tear shed when we had to leave. Adi is the same age as Joe's oldest son. They're thick as thieves. LJ's and his younger son Chase are close, man. And it was just so much fun to get together. Their story is a love story of a lifetime. They actually, funny story, met at NBA All-Star Weekend. I don't know how many people can say they met a woman at NBA All-Star Weekend and ended up getting married and being married for 15 years. But Joe sets the bar, man. He sets the bar on how to treat your wife, how to treat your kids, how to treat your family. He's the most kind and personal guy you'll ever meet, man. It goes for his wife, it goes for his parents, it goes for his siblings, his in-laws, everybody that we got to hang out with this week. His mom, man, it was wonderful talking to her. She was babysitting the kids. Like, I walk into the hotel and she's just drilling LJ on like the steps he needs to take from 5th grade on if he really wants to go to Stanford. The party, man, we went to Bruno Mars Speakeasy Lounge at the Bellagio Pinky Ring. That was an incredible experience. The Vegas style wedding, I think Quan mentioned it, man, them coming in the pink Cadillac with Elvis, incredible intro to the wedding. Dinner at Mastro's Ocean Club. We went to Wizard of Oz. We went ziplining. Just incredible weekend, man. And for Joe, all he wanted to do was play a couple hands of poker, but there was just so much to do, so many people, so much love being shared, man. We had an amazing time. So thank you to Joe. Thank you to Monique. In addition to all that, we also went to Allegiant Stadium. We went to see the Tank Bowl, which lived up to its billing. But I do want to say, man, for anyone who's ever supported the Raiders, watched them play in Oakland or LA, it felt like you were home. It felt like you were amongst friends and family. Obviously I'm a Niners fan, but I lived in Oakland. Our Neo Nnamdi Asamoah was drafted by the Raiders. There was a period of time, my roommate, my dorm mate Langston Walker played for the Raiders. There was a period in my life of about 8 years where I was going to more Raiders games than any other team. You'll see pictures of me. I had a Raiders hat on. LJ had a Raiders hat on. He bought an Ashton Jincy jersey. We went all in. We got festive, and it really felt like we were welcomed in that environment. The team has a real sense of love for former players. Rich Gannon was there. He got a huge ovation from the crowd when they put him up on the screen. They have a special area dedicated to all the Hall of Famers. Now, the Raiders went a bit too far in their claim of Hall of Famers. I saw Jerry Rice on that wall. I saw Richard Seymour on that wall. I saw Randy Moss. I'm like, come on, Raiders. You can't claim everybody that had a cup of tea with your team as a Raider Hall of Famer. But one true Raider Hall of Famer, Charles Woodson, man, they sell his bourbon and his Cabernet Sauvignon at every bar in that stadium, man. Like, I haven't seen that. Man, maybe I'm missing it, but like, they were like, do you want Maker's Mark or Woodson? I was like, Woodson? I've never heard. They were like, you don't know who Charles Woodson is? Pour me a Charles Woodson bourbon mule, please. Thank you. I'll order all of Charles Woodson's alcohol. You guys will love this. You had a little taste of it at Cosm in Seattle, NJC. Lou, you get it every time you go to SoFi. An all-female cheerleader team, the Raiderettes, all with real vaginas. That was a breath of fresh air. No man leaders anywhere to be found. They had short skirts, thongs. I was like, LJ, this is what cheerleaders are supposed to look like. Not what you're seeing at SoFi. Anyways, they had a huge stage, giant stage where the Family Stone Band performed. Rest in peace, Sly. They performed without Sly, but the Family Stone performed at halftime. That was cool to see. Very different demographic. You mentioned Family Stone, a black band performing in front of a black audience. That was different for me to see. There was very few Hispanic fans in attendance. It was a predominantly black and white crowd. Very attractive women in the crowd. You're in Vegas, there's tourists. So that was nice to see. I'd say that was a plus over some of what I've seen in other stadiums. The comparison to SoFi overall better stadium. The screen can't compare. Allegiant has no screens that compares to what SoFi has. But you can definitely tell the difference between a stadium without pumped in fake noise. My ears are buzzing at SoFi 24/7, even when I look around and no one's cheering. So there's some fake noise coming in there. Allegiant was dead quiet, partially probably because it was a Tank Bowl and there was no talent on the field. But it was quiet, man. Good sized crowd. They didn't make any noise, but it was still a good sized crowd. I think, people just plan to be in Vegas, right? There's this massive bridge that connects the stadium to the Strip. A sea of people coming in and out, going back to the Strip in their respective hotels. That was pretty cool, man. The saddest thing I think was the demise of the Black Hole. It's a fraction of the size that it was in Oakland. I looked over there and I'm used to seeing the entire end zone, or at least half to 75% of the end zone as the Black Hole, and here was just 4 rows in the corner right side of the end zone, and that was a little sad. And I get it, man. Ticket prices. People don't live in the Black Hole. They probably all live in LA or Oakland, and they're flying in for the weekend. So that was a little different, man. But overall, if you have ever supported the Raiders, if you're a Raider fan, make the pilgrimage. You'll feel at home as soon as you step inside the stadium.
lovely recap of the weekend, and that's that expression right there that Frogs just shared with us. That's all I was trying to translate to you, Quan. That's what I was talking about when I meant a fan base. That's what I was talking about when I meant a history. It might be another few years, but that black hole will be back as long as Trump's tariffs don't fuck us all off the economic cliff. With that said, I think it's been a great week. It's been a fantastic season. I didn't do shit this year, but I still had a great time, and I want to thank you guys for making this experience fun. This is 3 seasons deep into the podcast, and we're going to roll into a 4th season next season. So thank you guys. Rudy, it's so great to see you back online with us in effect, and hopeful for the next season. Champ, it's great to see you back on top. NJC and Quan, my guys, thank you for always bringing your segments, bringing your ideas to the league. Love having you on here, and I guess we'll run it back again, maybe next week, maybe next season. Froggy.
Scum, I just want to say, man, you said you didn't accomplish anything, but the fact that you played into later in the season, even in the consolation bracket, I think that teaches a lesson to teams. The longer you play, the more opportunities there are, right? When you're out of the season and your roster freezes, that's it. But just the fact that you were still alive when I was felt forced to cut Garrett Wilson, that's a pickup that you don't have that opportunity if you're not playing. So you pick that up. If you decide to keep him as a keeper, that's a step. That's a stepping stone, man. And if this championship says anything, it's one stepping stone at a time. It's the Bijan, it's the Puka, it's the rookies for the future. It's these small moves that turn into the ultimate glory in the end, man. This was 3+ years in the making.
We'll leave it right there. That is the perfect way to send it off. From the AGS Pod Squad family to all you fantasy football fiends out there, happy 2026. It's the new year when you're hearing this, a season of renewal. We're all undefeated. Start the new season.
wake up,
Thank you
nigga.
guys.
Wait, baby. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right, guys. Peace out.